Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us for the Medical Marijuana Awareness Seminar. Today is kind of one of our special seminars where we're going to actually get to meet one of the dispensaries, in this case, MÜV, which is one of the, I think, one of the premier dispensaries in Florida. I enjoy their products, I enjoy their people, and more importantly, I enjoy the technology behind what they do. But our objective today is to educate you on not only just medical marijuana and its uses, but also we want to also answer your questions. Our goal is to be able to get the questions out of the way so you feel comfortable with this, with medical marijuana. And so please feel free during the webinar to ask questions. You'll see a little Q&A button that's down at the bottom of your screen here. Please feel free to ask any questions that you want. There's no such thing as a dumb question, but we're really here for you. And then the other reason you're here is because if we can make one person's life better from this webinar, we can just help one person get their life back. We think we've been successful. That's really what we're trying to do. I've been doing this for now actually over 5 years, and doing seminars or webinars, and accumulated a number of people that have got their life back. And it's something that I think is important, especially in my case where I'm senior citizens, all the way down to the younger kids that have autism. It's been something that's a pleasure to be able to watch. So tonight, what I like to do is talk about MÜV, one of the I think premier dispensaries here in Florida. And we have the opportunity to have a gentleman who's going to introduce us to it, Zack Swan. Zack, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and then why don't you show us a little bit of a presentation so we can have some slides to talk from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and.
So who is Zack?
Yeah, who is Zack? Yeah, my name is Zack Swan. I'm the sales and marketing director for AltMed Florida. AltMed Florida runs the MÜV dispensary and the MÜV branded products here in Florida. So as the sales and marketing director, I'm responsible for community outreach. I oversee a team of physician educators who go around the state, working closely with doctors to provide them education and knowledge on our products. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm responsible for today. Let's share my screen there. So presentation there. Yep. Can you see the presentation there, Mark?
We got it. I think we're good, Zack.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Well, I will dive right in here. I appreciate everybody logging in and learning about MÜV. Happy to answer any and all questions that pop up. So just a quick background on MÜV Dispensary. So we're very much founded on R&D and pharmaceutical principles. Our original founder, Mike Smolin, came from the pharmaceutical world. He was very, very successful in that environment and was able to retire in the mid 2000s after successfully selling one of his companies to AstraZeneca. But around that same time, while he was in retirement, the Sanjay Gupta documentary on cannabis came out. And he was incredibly inspired by Charlotte and Charlotte's Web and the amazing powers of CBD and what it was doing to help children with seizures. His own daughter happened to suffer from seizures as well. And so from that day on, Mike decided to start AltMed Enterprises. And so when the company first started, all the way back in 2014, 2015, we were really just a lobbying organization and trying to get the measure on the ballot back in Florida. It unfortunately did not pass in 2014. And so at that time, the founders, Mike and Bill Petron at the time, decided to pivot and get a license in Arizona, where we operated for 2 years. And then in 2016, the ballot measure passed here in Florida. So this is just a quick kind of timeline of the company. And so you can see here back in August of 2015 in Florida is when the original licenses were issued. Those were Charlotte's Web licenses, so low THC products. It wasn't until 2016 that the full cannabis program was voted in and then goes into effect late 2016, early 2017. We received our license in July of 2017 after partnering up with Plants of Ruskin, and then opened up our first dispensary in June 2018. Between 2018 and 2019, we opened up 11 locations, and so far in 2020, we have opened up 15 locations. So we are says 25 dispensaries. We are now up to 26 locations, and we'll get to 29 before the year is over.
That before you leave the slide, I think we'll go
Please.
back if you don't mind. I think it's important to point out one of the things that I've noticed as an outsider to MOV is your company was founded basically with pharma roots. I mean, your founder was somebody in the pharma company, and so as you've gone through and developed your products and developed your programs, you very much stuck to a lot of the science, a lot of the testing. You know, you've been very let's just say you've been a lot more rigid than, let's say, you're the most rigid dispensary I've seen as far as being able to be almost a pharma approach to putting together the quality of products and the consistency of products.
Yeah, we spent almost 18 months in research and development before we actually launched our first product in Arizona, and that was a large reason that we got that license in Arizona. You know, Florida is our home state. We were founded here, and we knew it was eventually going to pass in Florida, and so we saw an opportunity to really do a lot of R&D in Arizona. Our facility in Arizona, again, really harping on those pharmaceutical principles, was the first ISO 9001 certified cannabis facility in the world. And so ISO 9001 certification is a very comparable certification that a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility or a pharmaceutical testing lab. Arizona, up until literally October 1st of this year, had no testing requirements. It was truly the kind of wild west of medical cannabis. You could really get away with pretty much anything. And that made us very uncomfortable. And so as part of our ISO certification, we developed an internal standard of testing requirements. And what we did was take the most stringent testing requirements that were currently being used in other states around the country. And so if Colorado had the tightest controls on mold, then that was going to be our standard. If Washington State had a tighter control for residual solvents, then that was going to be our standard. And we carried that through all the way here to Florida. And then now in Florida, there are required testing regulations that went into place over the summer that are very strict, and we're very happy about that because it's really important to have strict testing protocols. This is just a quick snapshot of our 29 locations. As you can see, we've got the majority of the state covered today. The last 3 locations that we're going to be opening up this year, in November, it will likely be Boynton Beach and Cape Coral. And then hopefully in December, we'll be opening up our Key West store. And I did just recently find out that we will be the southernmost medical cannabis dispensary in the United States, which I think is pretty unique and pretty cool.
Did you have a few people that want to apply for that job?
You'd be surprised. If there are people who would like to apply, we would very much like to know that. We've actually had some challenges finding a lot of applicants for Key West, believe it or not. So if anybody is interested, we have a careers page on our website that I would highly encourage people to check out. As you can see here, this is just kind of an overarching summary of all the delivery methods that we would offer, that we offer today. So with the exception of the edibles. You know, as Marc highlighted before, we are very much focused on traditional pharmaceutical delivery methods and bridging that gap with medical cannabis. And I'd like to think we have among, you know, one of the largest product portfolios in the state. And so there, in my opinion, there really is a product option that can fit anybody's need here in the state. One product that is mentioned on here that I just wanted to touch on fairly quickly are the edibles. Edibles have always technically been allowed under the law that was passed in 2016, but the Department of Health had never issued guidelines or rules regarding edibles, and unfortunately those came out in August, and so we've been working very quickly to meet those requirements. And the first product line that we will likely be launching is going to be our Wana gummies. Wana Brands is a company based out of Colorado that we actually partnered with in Arizona. It's the only company that we have a licensing deal with. We're very specific in who we wanted to partner with, and Wana was a perfect match in that they are very R&D focused as well. They spent 2 years in research and development before they ever launched their first product. And so we really had a great culture fit with them. And since launching in Arizona, it was probably about 18 months, maybe 24 months ago, The Wana gummies are now the #1 selling edible in Arizona, which I think is pretty exciting. So we're very excited to bring that product here. And we'll be initially launching with those four products you see in the upper left corner: an indica blueberry gummy, a mango sativa, a watermelon hybrid, and then a strawberry lemonade 1-to-1 gummy. The gummies are all made from apple pectin, so they are vegan. They don't have gelatin. A lot of gummies in the cannabis markets are gelatin based, and I always urge patients to be cautious with gelatin, particularly if you have any GI issues or Crohn's. Gelatin can be very rough on the system. Marc, I can't see if chats are coming in because I'm on full screen with the presentation mode. So if I need to stop for any questions, just let me know.
Okay, we'll do that just a little bit. Okay.
Turn it over to some of the more traditional options for patients. These are our cannabis topicals. Cannabis topicals are a great option for a lot of patients who are looking for what we describe as localized relief. And so localized relief is going to be things like arthritis, muscle pain, aches, sore joints, things of that nature. And so with topicals, what they're going to do is they're going to provide relief topically, obviously, but locally. They're not going to penetrate into the skin and get into your bloodstream and circulate through your entire body. And so what that means is there's no risk for any psychoactivity. You're not going to have any psychosis that you might traditionally have from ingesting or inhaling cannabis. So if patients are very wary of THC and don't want to have any potential psychoactive effects, topicals are a great option. And we offer three options: our sports gel, our pain relief cream, and then we also offer a hydrating lotion as well.
I should mention, going back to that, I've used your hydrating. I've played golf for many years. I'm obviously a senior citizen, and having walked golf courses and been on golf courses for literally over 40 years, I got a lot of sunspots and things in my arms and my face. And I've been using your the one that's not showing, the one that's your lotion, and it's really helped over the last 2 years as far as being able to get rid of a lot of the brown spots and things like that. So it's been very effective.
Absolutely. So I see there's a few questions in the chat. Do you want me to respond to answer those real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, so Dawn, I see your email regarding the AC/DC RSO. Yeah, it's a great product, Dawn. Unfortunately, it's been a product that's been very difficult for us to keep in stock. It comes from our AC/DC strain, which is a high CBD strain. That's the strain that we grow all of our CBD from. The way the law is set up here in Florida, we're not allowed to grow hemp. So we have to extract all of our CBD from cannabis plants, which can be very challenging. And so the way the law is written right now, it has kind of forced us to have some tight supply on CBD. And that's why that AC/DC RSO you have not seen be available, unfortunately. But we are working very hard to expand our cultivation facility right now so that we can grow more AC/DC and offer that product. It's a product that I personally love as well and very much want to see it come back into stock. The Wana edibles will be 10 milligrams a piece to start out. That's not, I shouldn't say start out. That's all that's allowed. The way the law is written here, you can only do 10 milligrams per piece and up to 200 milligrams per package. Our initial launches will be 10 milligram pieces and 100 milligrams per package. And then down the road, we'll definitely look at doing 200 milligram pieces as well. Are the THC infused drinks sold in other states the same requirements as edibles? And can we get drink products in Florida? As of right now, I do not believe drinks are an option. They have allowed us to do powdered beverages. So very similar to like a Crystal Light idea, if everybody remembers that big craze. And that is a product that we are currently looking at developing. And then, yeah, Deb, thank you for the shout out on the meter dose inhaler. Definitely a product I'm going to talk about. Something I'm very happy that we developed. This next slide here is going to jump into our transdermal and our EnCaps technology. So the topicals that we just talked about, as I was talking about before, those are not going to penetrate into the bloodstream because they cannot get past the fat in your epidermis. So THC and CBD and all cannabinoids for that matter are inherently lipophilic. And so lipophilic means that they like fat. And so when you apply them to the skin, they bind onto the fat cells in your skin and they get stuck there. And so that was a challenge for us because there are a lot of patients who want to get the benefits of cannabis, but may not necessarily want to inhale or ingest it. And so we really wanted to find a way to get through the skin and get it directly into the bloodstream. And so we spent about 2.5 years in research and development. And what came out from that was our EnCaps technology, which we just received 7 patents on about 2 months ago. It took us 3.5 years to get the patents back, but we are the first company that I'm aware of that has a patent related to cannabis technology and improving the bioavailability of those cannabinoids. So with that technology, we've actually been able to apply it not only to transdermal products, but also to ingestible products, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So this is the transdermal patch. So this product does have our EnCaps technology. This is a product I highly recommend for new patients. It's a 72-hour time release patch. It's the longest lasting patch that I'm aware of on the market. Because it has our EnCaps technology, this product has the ability to get past the fat in your skin and go directly into your bloodstream and provide systemic relief. And so systemic relief means that it's going to provide relief throughout your whole body. If you've got aches and pains in multiple areas, it's going to be helpful for that. You also need systemic relief for anything like anxiety or depression or PTSD. Those are also conditions and symptoms that require the cannabinoids actually getting into the bloodstream and circulating through the whole body. And these patches can offer that option. I really like this product for new patients because it's a really small dose. It's only 0.24 milligrams per hour. So that's what we consider a microdose. So microdoses means that it's very unlikely to cause any psychoactivity. And so this is a great product for new patients who are maybe new to THC or a little bit nervous about using it. And the reason it's great is because if for some reason you are experiencing some psychoactivity, which again is pretty rare for this product, but has happened, you can simply take the patch off. Within 30 to 45 minutes, it's going to be completely out of your system. If you inhale or ingest cannabis, you're going to feel those effects for some time. And there's really nothing you can do it. You simply have to wait for it to work through your system. With the patch, it's kind of giving you an on-off button as it relates to the effects of the cannabinoids. And the nice thing about the patch too is you can take them off and reapply it. So there's a number of patients I know who just wear them at night. They put it on before they go to sleep. They wake up in the morning, they take it off, and then the next night they put it back on.
And as you know, Zach, I'm a huge patch fan. I love your patches. In fact, I have one on now. I just really believe that for my particular case where I have a dosing regimen for 3 times a day. It really helps me be able to just stay on schedule and be able to keep my body in where I want it to be to relieve the pain and handle the inflammation.
Yeah, I think it offers a number of advantages over inhalation or ingestion of cannabis. You know, with that, you're going to get this peak of maximum relief, and then it's going to start to have to taper off, and you're going to have to get more. Whereas with the transdermal patch, you're guaranteeing that you're going to keep getting that steady dose every hour. And so, a lot of patients may find that they need to combine that product with another product, but at least that patch is guaranteeing that the body is going to continue to receive those cannabinoids. Deb, regarding your question with, wearing it with while bathing, I think if you have an option, probably take it off. Can you wear it while bathing or swimming? Yeah, absolutely. You just want to make sure that patch has a really nice seal on top. One thing that I recommend, if you are going to get it wet or if you've taken it off a couple times and reapplied it, is to just use a piece of medical tape to make sure that the gel is secure and touching the skin.
So I'm going to be a guy. I got to tell you, when I put those patches on, I keep them on for like 72 hours. I don't worry about bathing and things like that.
Yeah, typically if I wear a patch, it's because my herniated disc, and so they're usually on my lower back, and I need somebody to help me take it off. So they usually just stay on for 72 hours. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from the patch. This is our Evolve Transdermal Gel. So the same gel that is in the patch is in this product, but in more of a macro dose version. Right now, what you'll see, this packaging here is a little out of date. We actually just transitioned this product from being 15 milligrams per pump to 8 milligrams per pump. Something a little bit closer or a little bit lower of a dose based on some feedback we were receiving. This is a great product for patients who need quick relief. Whereas the patch is more geared towards chronic pain, pain that's very consistent and is, going to be, kind of a constant battle. Whereas with the Evolve gel, it's more for sudden onset sharp pains, like, a pinched nerve, sciatica, migraines, things of that nature. Both the patches and in the transdermal gels Evolve, we offer in 3 formulations: a full THC, which is the green packaging, a 1-to-1, which is the blue, and then we offer in a full CBD, which will be white packaging. And the reason we offer those 3 different formulations is just based on different patients' needs and their tolerance level for with the THC and what they're looking for. 9 times out of 10, particularly for new patients, I'm always recommending 1-to-1 products. There's just a lot of synergy that exists when you have the THC and the CBD together. It's really going to help with the entourage effect. And then, in a lot of ways, the CBD can offset some of the negative side effects of the THC when you keep them together. These are our EnCaps products. As I mentioned before, we were really focused on finding a way to encapsulate for transdermal application. But going through that process, we were actually able to find a way to do it through oral consumption as well. So our EnCaps capsules are actually powdered base. And today we offer those in 2 formulations. We have them in an RSO formulation as well as a full THC formulation. The RSO formulation is 25 milligrams of THC per capsule. That is a very, very potent dose. Not a product that I would ever recommend for anybody new to cannabis. Our THC EnCaps are 10 milligrams of THC. In my opinion, that's even too strong of a dose for somebody who's brand new to cannabis. If you're brand new to cannabis, say the same thing with our Wana gummies. If you've never ingested cannabis before, then I recommend you cut, our Wana gummies in half and take a dose that's closer to 5 milligrams. This is our cannabis tincture. This is a really a great product as well that I find is very unique, and there's not really any other options like it on the market. Our cannabis tincture is water soluble. That has to do with that EnCaps technology. And so with our tincture, you can actually add it to any liquid and it's going to fully disperse and mix in that liquid. So whether you want to add it to, a bottle of water or a juice or something of that nature, if you don't want to take the product directly and you want to just add it to a drink, that is a great option. Again, we offer it in a full THC, a 1-to-1, and a full CBD formulation. And I would highly recommend most patients start out with that 1-to-1 formulation. If you're someone who's interested in working up to higher doses so that you can get longer lasting relief, the tincture is a great place to start because you can titrate your dose and take more and more over time. In contrast to our encapsulated tincture is our RSO strain-specific tincture. Marc, do you want me to explain RSO briefly?
Please, why don't you just for a second? I think it's important.
So RSO it stands for Rick Simpson oil. I think a more appropriate description of the product is full extract cannabis oil. Rick Simpson oil is almost like a brand name at this point. Rick is a Canadian gentleman who had skin cancer and produced his version of full extract cannabis oil and applied it topically to his skin cancer lesions. And according to Rick, his skin cancer was gone. Unfortunately, that's not a medical study. We don't have any hard evidence to back that up, but Rick was so inspired by the results that he's really made it his life's work to educate and teach patients across really the world how to make their own version of RSO or full extract cannabis oil and use it to battle cancer. And Rick obviously initially started treating his skin cancer topically, but there's a lot of patients who ingest it orally. And there's, preliminary research and animal studies that show, cannabinoids do cause apoptosis or cellular death in cancer cells. You know, we certainly need more research, but there's quite a few people in the community who feel that RSO in particular has some very strong anti-cancer properties. This
Well,
RSO strain
Rick,
specific.
when he came up with the product, he actually made it. He gave the formula away. He didn't.
He did.
He said, "Here it is," you know, and which I thought was very admirable. But what was fascinating is, you know, why did he get into all this? He ended up posting a website, and it was called Phoenix Free or something like that. I'm trying to think of the name of it. He ended up getting 60,000 testimonials for the product. 60,000.
60,000?
60,000, yeah. What motivated him was all these people kept dropping in these testimonials, and he checked a lot of them out, and they were, you know, he verified them. That's one of the reasons why he was up in Canada for a while. He's now actually, believe it or not, he's in Europe. And what he's doing right now is he actually doing a lot of basically clinical tests, in European style clinical tests on RSO.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
It's like 2 years into one study already.
It's a really great story.
Yeah.
And so this product here is also very unique, this RSO strain-specific tincture. So, you know, what I tasked the research and development team with was developing a strain-specific non-alcohol based tincture. So our encapsulated tincture does have ethanol in it. So ethanol is a key ingredient in our encapsulation technology. And unfortunately, there's some people who are allergic to ethanol. There's some people who are in recovery, or there's some people who just simply don't like the taste of it. And so that was one reason we wanted to develop a non-alcohol based tincture, but we also wanted to develop a strain specific one. You'll see with a lot of our product line, we either offer a ratio base focusing on 1-to-1 full THC or full CBD, or on the complete opposite side of the coin, we focus on strain specific products, meaning that it's capturing the unique cannabinoid and terpene profile of those strains. And so that was what we tasked the R&D team to come up with. And what they ended up actually developing was an RSO based strain specific tincture, which I've never really seen on the market before. So it's a full spectrum strain specific tincture that is alcohol free. This product is a great product for patients who either have cancer or have PTSD and would like to begin what's called an RSO regimen, because you can control the dosing with this. So a full dropper is 20 milligrams. So for patients who are more experienced, it can offer that higher dose they're looking for. But if you're new to cannabis, it can also allow you to control the dosing and take very small doses if you would like to. This is a very fantastic product that we've received really amazing feedback since launching it about 2 months ago.
I should point out, one of the things I like about MÜV is you pay attention to inventory levels. I know you've been very careful to make sure that the products are in inventory. Now, naturally, in our market, because we're growing so fast, especially in the current situation, it's hard to keep things in stock. But you've been pretty religious about making sure the products are there, and that's why, when you answered Don's question in the beginning about that one product, you know, you guys are doing a good job of trying to get there, and I'm sure you're working hard to get some kind of products.
Yeah, and you know, and I would say the one product where I feel like you know, we have to be honest and admit that we have not done a great job of maintaining inventory is the product that Don talked about, which is this AC/DC RSO. You know, there's a number of physicians who reach out to me on a regular basis seeking out that product because it's truly unique. It's full spectrum and it has a massive concentration of CBD. But as I alluded to before, you know, we need every milligram of CBD we can to produce a number of our products. And so that's probably a product we should have done a bit better analysis of our supply chain before bringing it to the market. But we've learned since then. And so since that time, we have not brought any products to the market. I feel that we cannot, you know, maintain at least a strong inventory. Same thing with our Wana gummies. You know, some of our competitors have launched edibles and quickly been out of stock or restricted the number of units that you'd be allowed to buy, or it wasn't available at all locations. I can tell you when we launch, you know, a product, it's going to be available at all of our stores, and we are not going to restrict the number of units you can buy. We strongly feel that this is medication, and if people feel that they need it to treat their symptoms or their conditions, you can't be putting limits on that. Right. This next product is a great product too. It's be honest, definitely not one of our most popular products, but I think if more people were aware of it, more people would try it. It's our oral spray product. It's a great microdosing option as well. It's only 1.9 milligrams per spray. It's only 150 milligram bottle. And so again, this is a great product for new users who may want to try THC, but don't want to make a big investment, because this product goes for only $25. So it's a really great option for patients to give a try. And then here is the meter dose inhaler. So I know one of the guests already mentioned how much they love this product. This is actually one of the first products that we ever developed. We were trying really hard to develop products that we thought would meet Florida's initially very stringent requirements. Some of the initial legislation was looking like it may only include tinctures and capsules. And so we felt strongly that inhalation is an important dosing method for cannabis, but we knew flower was not going to be considered, and they were pretty against vape pens as well. And so that spawned us to try and develop an alternative option. And that's where the MDI came from. And so it's, in my opinion, truly the only inhaler on the market that's a true inhaler. So we use the same propellant that you're going to find in an ibuterol inhaler. It's called HFA 134A. And then we do what's called, we shrink the particle micron size of the cannabinoids. So in order for the medication to not simply, get stuck on your tongue or hit the back of your throat, you need to be under 4 microns. And so we were able to develop a means and a methodology of shrinking the particle micron size of those cannabinoids under 4 microns, so that it can go straight into your upper bronchial cavity and have an almost immediate effect. The MDI is great for a number of reasons. It's a controlled dose, so you're going to get 2.4 milligrams of medication for every actuation. If you're using a vape pen, it can be very difficult to control the dosing, and so this is a great way to have a bit more control over how many milligrams you're taking. It has no smell, it has no smoke, and it has no vapor. So it's also a great discreet way to medicate. A lot of patients have to be able to medicate, on the go or while they're traveling around the state. And so this offers another great option for that.
Elaine had a good question. She asked, which kicks in faster, oral spray or meter dose inhaler?
Meter dose inhaler. I would say the MDI has probably the fastest onset time of really any product we have, even more so than the Vape Pen, just because it's going straight into that upper bronchial cavity and right into the blood. Now it may not feel that way to some patients because it's a pretty small dose. It's only 2.4 milligrams. But if you're a new user and you put that product up, head to head against any of our other ones, I would say that the MDI has the fastest onset time.
Cool.
That's a good question.
Yeah, good question.
Dive over to the cannabis concentrates here. So we offer a number of cannabis concentrates. So we offer shatter. The blue packaging was previously called our blue product line. We just got approval from the Department of Health to call it Crumble, like everyone else. We were the first company in the state to offer that product, and at the time that we applied, calling it Crumble was rejected. There was concerns that people would eat it, but since then, 2 other dispensary groups have created that product and have gotten approval from the state to call it Crumble, and we can now also call it Crumble. That's what it is. Shatter and Crumble are very comparable products. They are concentrated THCA. They're just in different physical forms. Shatter is kind of sounds what it looks like. It looks like amber colored glass, and if you try and crack it, it shatters into a lot of little tiny pieces. And then Crumble, to me, I always compare it to honeycomb. So it looks like a little piece of honeycomb. It's 3-dimensional. If you're trying cannabis concentrates, personally, I typically recommend Crumble as a good starting place. It's a bit more easy to work with in comparison to Shatter because of its 3-dimensional shape. But both products are highly potent. They are what we call a macro dose. Typically, the recommended starting dose is about a grain of rice. And in a grain of rice, you have about 25 milligrams of THC. So it's a very strong dose. The typical inhalation on a vape pen is only going to provide 2 to 4 milligrams of THC, depending on the user, depending on the product. So doing what they call a dab of a concentrate is like 4 to 5 vape inhalations all at once. So very potent, very likely to cause psychoactivity if you're new to THC. But there's a lot of patients who live for concentrates because they either have such high levels of pain or such high levels of insomnia or they're dealing with cancer, they're dealing with PTSD, that love these products because they're able to get a very large dose all at once in a very efficient manner. We also carry rosin. So the crumble and the shatter are produced using our cold ethanol extraction method. All of our products are what we call, or what we consider solventless, meaning that there's no residual solvents left in them. Our rosin is our only truly completely solvent-free product, and what that means is that we never use a chemical agent to modify it. So our cold ice water extracted rosin, we harvest plants, we flash freeze them, and then they go through an ice bath. And in that ice bath, the trichomes, which is where a large concentration of the cannabinoids, the medicinal properties of the plant live, break off in that wash. And we capture those trichomes, pack them together, and then press them under a heated press. And then that finished product is what's called rosin. Again, very concentrated product, definitely for more of an experienced user. And then we also carry THC distillate. The THC distillate that we carry is already what's called decarboxylated, meaning that it's already been activated. So if patients are interested in cooking at home, that's the product I would typically recommend, because you don't need to guess how many active milligrams of THC you have. A lot of patients will tend to buy flour and then try and decarb that flour themselves. And that can be a pretty costly and time-consuming process. How do you use the rosin, shatter, and crumble? Great question, Elaine. So with those products, you need to use either what's called a dab rig or a concentrate pen. Concentrate pen is what I would recommend for most new users. We carry a couple different concentrate products at our dispensary. The kind of easiest one to use is our G Pen concentrate pen. And it's called the Nova, and that retails for $35. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take that concentrate product, break off a little bit of piece, and inside that pen is a little chamber, and you drop that into the chamber, put the mouthpiece back on, turn it to heat it, and then inhale that vapor.
Zach, I have one here.
Oh, perfect.
What you're talking about. Okay. Well, if you go off screen share for a second, I'll just show it.
Yeah, here, I'll stop.
So this is the pen here. Can you see this? We're talking about.
That's the dipper. Yep, that's another one of the pens.
Yeah, it's great. And then what you do is you pull the top off here. Okay, is what you're talking about, and you put the product inside of here. So that's how this works. And the pen also has the ability, because of the way it works, you can turn it around, put the cap on this side, and you can use it to actually just go right above the actual product itself and inhale it that way. So it has two. This is one of the most functional pens I've seen out there. One of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah, there are a bazillion different concentrate pens in the market today. We are required by law to offer at least one device to support the products. But you don't have to use the concentrate devices that we carry. You can order them online. You can order them from your local smoke shop. But obviously, if you order a product from us, we're able to help you and coach you through it.
And this is one of my favorites. So I'll give you full credit for this one.
Oh, fantastic. Question. Yep. So yeah, Elaine, you inhale it just like a vape pen. So what that concentrate device does is it superheats that solid material and turns it into a vapor, and then you inhale that vapor. The difference between the vape pen vapor and the concentrate vapor is there's a lot more THC in the concentrate vapor. Okay. Moving on to RSO. We kind of talked on this a little bit, but this is the traditional form of RSO. Obviously, we have it in the tincture and we have it in the capsules as well. But what you see here in that syringe, that kind of black tar looking liquid, that is kind of the original RSO. That is what it looks like. It's got that really dark color because it contains a lot of the plant material that you originally find. So, chlorophyll, lipids, waxes, things of that nature. It does not taste very good, in my opinion. It's very thick. It's very sticky. If you are considering taking RSO, I always recommend taking it on a full stomach and at night, particularly the first time you want to do it. So I typically recommend taking it after dinner, about an hour before bed. And the reason you want to take it on a full stomach is because RSO is not encapsulated. So what you are ingesting is a very fat soluble compound. And if there's nothing in your stomach when you eat it, there's nothing for that fat soluble compound to bind onto. And so it's just going to take a very long time to break down in your body. When there's something fatty in your stomach in particular, really anything in your stomach, it's going to bind onto it and break down faster. But eating something a little bit more on the fatty side will typically help it kick in quicker. So meats, cheeses, things of that nature. Peanut butter is a great option. That's typically how I would take RSO, is with a spoonful of peanut butter.
Lita asked the question via the chat panel. Can this be applied topically?
Yes. So RSO was originally, made for topical application. So you can ingest it or you can apply it topically. I do know a number of people who have applied it topically to skin cancer lesions and seen those lesions disappear. It's actually pretty incredible to see. Premium flower. So obviously we offer flower like pretty much every other dispensary in the state. We're 100% indoor grown facility. Some of the other MMTCs grow in a combination of indoor or greenhouse or outdoor, but we do 100% indoor at MÜV. And we offer it in either the pre-rolls you see here or in eighths, which is 3.5 grams of flower. Cannabis vape pens, we offer several options there. Our all-in-one vape pen here is definitely one of our more popular, if not our most popular. Our all-in-one vape pen is what's considered a raw extract-based pen as opposed to a distillate. And so this is a strain-specific product. And so what we do is we do a run of a specific strain, and that crude extract goes right into the device. So we're not reintroducing any terpenes. So this product doesn't have any botanical terpenes, which some people aren't a fan of. It's going to be 100% cannabis-derived terpenes, and we're constantly rotating new strains out. So this is definitely a great product for newer users too, because you can simply take it right out of the box and start inhaling. There's no battery you have to charge. There's no button you have to press. Over here, this product that says Grape Ape, that is our G-Pen vape pen. So G-Pen is a vape brand that we've partnered up with, and they make a pod-based system. That's what you see here on the screen here. That's the G-Pen pod. Pods have become a much more popular vape hardware as the cannabis community has developed and gotten a little bit better with the technology. And then our pure line here is going to be what's called a traditional 510 thread cartridge. That's definitely the most widely available style of hardware in the market. Our pure pens are definitely going to be our most potent pens. They'll typically be anywhere between 78 all the way up to 88% THC. So definitely a very, very potent product. And in the back here, we also have our vaporizer flower cups. Prior to the smokable flower being available in the market, the vaporizer flower cups were the only way patients could access to whole plant material. And we do continue to offer those options today. There's a couple questions.
Yeah, a couple of good. Darren had a good question. Why don't you take a look at that about training, how you train your employees?
Yeah. So, Elaine, to answer your question, why are the G-Pen pens more popular than regular? They're not necessarily more popular. They're actually pretty neck and neck. It just really depends on the user and what they're looking for. Daryl, great question as far as training goes. That's actually something we're particularly proud of. We've hired a number of people from other dispensaries in the state, and we have consistently been told that we have the most comprehensive training program of any dispensary in the state. All of the staff is required to take 2 weeks of training. The first week is almost entirely what we would call classroom time, where they are spending time going through our training manual, which is now over 80 pages of information on not only our products, but we also educate, obviously, our staff on cannabis in general. We educate them on the endocannabinoid system. We educate them on the different types of strains and the different effects. We educate them on the different types of terpenes and what the medicinal effects of those terpenes are. So yeah, we're actually very, very proud of our training program. And I think if you look a lot of our reviews online, you'll see very often people complimenting the strong knowledge base of our med tenders. Now, that being said, they are not physicians, and we make sure that they understand that they are not doctors. We're here to give guidance, on our products and provide general education. But it's also really important that patients ask questions with their physicians and work closely with their doctors as well, which is why we make it a priority to work closely with organizations like Marc, who are very focused on education.
I have to tell you, vape pens work almost immediately. I know I use one every morning. I get out of bed with a level of pain of probably about a 7, and within 3 minutes, it's down to a 1. That's how fast the vape pens work. So it's worth paying attention to.
Yes, absolutely. And pretty much immediate onset. The next thing I have up here is what's called strain print. This is something I really encourage, really for all patients, but particularly for new patients. Strain print is a mobile app patients can download on their phones, either through the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And it is essentially a free mobile cannabis journal. So patients can record their medication sessions. Haven't really touched on it, but cannabis is not a one size fits all. There's a reason we offer so many different types of products, and that's because every patient is unique. What works for one Crohn's patient is not necessarily going to work for another Crohn's patient, and so dialing in your medication regimen, if you're a new user, can often take some time. Whether that's weeks or months, and so it's really important for patients to record their medication sessions so that they can better track what's working and what's not working. And so using the Strain Print app, you create a comprehensive profile of your conditions, your symptoms, your age, your sex, and then you log your conditions, your symptoms, and then which products you're using. And what's nice about Strain Print is we provide a lot of data to them on our products. And so if you take the tincture product as an example, the app knows that product typically has a 15 to 30 minute onset time. So when you hit start medication session after you use it, the app is actually going to ping you 30 minutes later and ask you, have your symptoms improved? Have they worsened? Is there negative effects? Is there positive effects? And then it's going to follow up 4 hours later, which is typically the duration of that product, and have you review it again. And so we're getting all of that data, which is really helping us in our product development, but it's also helping us aggregate a very large data set that we can start giving to patients and give to physicians so that they have a better understanding of what products are or are not working for different conditions and symptoms. And so we've been working with Strain Print for several months now, and I believe we've had over 3,700 patients log over 18,000 medication sessions in this app. And so we've really started to aggregate an amazing data set. And we're even doing a promotion right now with some of the new genetics that our cultivation has released, that if you record 5 medication sessions with these particular strains, you'll actually get a 10% coupon sent to you. So we're big believers in data and making data-driven decisions. That's the pharmaceutical model. And Strain Print has really helped us bridge that gap. You just need to use the MOV FL activation code as it states there.
Great.
I think
we had a couple of questions. One of them was, do you have training programs other than this webinar? Wonderful webinar. Thank you. We compliments get you everywhere for patients. Or do you recommend any training for beginners?
We don't have like a specific training program, Don. We, pretty much most of the information I have provided to you today is in our training manual. This is the same amount of information, maybe not quite as biochemistry as I touch on, but most of this information is knowledge that our med tenders have. First question you're going to get asked when you come into our dispensary is, have you ever been into a dispensary before? Have you ever used a cannabis product? We're very much focused on education and taking our time with patients. So if you're a bigger beginner training in cannabis, I recommend you reach out to us. I'll actually take us to that next slide.
Let me answer it also. If you want to become a cannabis practitioner and you're a beginner, the best place to go to is the Holistic Cannabis Academy. And you can just go to holisticcannabisacademy.com. We'll include it as a follow-up to this session. You'll get a follow-up that has the video, the slides, all the reference material, and we'll make sure there's a link in there for a Holistic Cannabis Academy. So if you're looking at becoming a practitioner, that's probably the best way to go. They're the only academy in cannabis that's accredited by people other than themselves. almost all these cannabis academies accredit themselves. They've been accredited by people inside and outside of the United States, and so they're a very credible program. The other is that if somebody who's just a patient that wants to learn more about it in general, I think you can go to Leafly. That's one offer. And I think the other is either that or you can go to a thing called Green Flower. Green Flower has a lot of articles on cannabis that you can take a look at. So those are a couple educational places that you can tap into.
Yeah, we have a lot of information on our website as well, and we do also release a pretty consistent amount of weekly blogs as well. That's actually something we're working to constantly provide additional educational content. You know, cannabis is happening right now. This is science in real time. You know, this is a chemical and a plant that had been largely untouchable from a scientific research standpoint until the last 10, 15 years. And so we're learning new things every single day, both internally and from a number of other research institutions. We also have an amazing patient care team. So every dispensary location has 2 dedicated patient care representatives who are available to talk either over the phone. We also have live chat available on our website. Some of our med tenders actually have dedicated cell phone numbers, and so you can text with them to get quick answers to questions. And then we're actually looking at rolling out virtual consultations as well before the year is over. So there's a number of ways to get in touch with us and provide education. And then Mark, I think someone was asking if you have ever tried the inhaler.
The answer is no, I haven't. I try to try a lot of products. It's just one I haven't gotten around to yet. So, but thanks for asking.
We have a rewards program available for patients as well. You know, we recognize that none of this is covered by insurance, unfortunately. So we want to do what we can to make it more affordable. That is why, we offer a number of ongoing discounts, 25% off for any patient their first time they come in. We always offer 20% off for vets, and then we offer a 10% off for seniors. And then sometimes we do what we call a senior spotlight, where we'll offer an additional 10% off for seniors. And then, there's not a ton of pediatric patients in the state, but for those patients who are under 18, we do offer a 25% discount.
By the way, Christina asked the question, do you offer home delivery of these products?
We do. Yeah, we do offer home delivery. As you can see there, delivery and express pickup available. We typically deliver within 20, 25 miles of any of our locations. So we do have the majority of the state covered at this point, and certainly by the end of the year, we would have a majority of it covered. I'd say the one area that we don't have as much coverage as I'd like would be Miami-Dade County. We have 2 locations under construction there, but be very honest, doing business in Miami-Dade County is challenging. A lot of regulatory hoops to jump through. So we're anxiously hoping to open up there soon. Here is the way to contact the patient care team. You can order by phone. There's our phone number. You can order online as well. There's the phone number and a dedicated email for our support team. They have the same training that our staff in store has. I work very closely with that department to continue to provide them updated education and training, and they've really become an amazing resource for our company. And that does it.
Well, first of all, let me just say, if there's any questions that people have, please bring them in. We'd be more than happy to answer them for you. I have 2 questions for you, Zach.
Okay.
One of the questions, some people, you see the different types of products. Can you combine them? Like, for example, I know, and I'll give you what my misleading question is. I take tincture drops when I wake up in the morning, but I know it takes 20 minutes for them to work. So typically, while I'm waiting for them to work, because I have a lot of pain that I'm trying to manage from herniated discs in my neck, I hit a vape pen that gives me relief within 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm able to get rid of the pain immediately, and then so when the drops kick in, it carries me over to that particular period. I don't know if people know you can mix and match.
Yeah, no, so that's typically what we refer to as stacking. And yes, absolutely, you can stack. So I'll give you a really great example that I see a lot of patients take advantage of is stacking a vape pen with our transdermal patch. So a lot of our patients, like I mentioned before, will use the transdermal patch just at nighttime as a nighttime sleep aid. problem with the patches is twofold. Was really just one, is that, you know, it's not a very strong dose, right? So it may not necessarily be strong enough to actually help you fall asleep. So lots of times what I recommend patients do is they use a vape pen to, you know, quickly, you know, help them fall asleep. And then that patch is going to help them stay asleep, because lots of times what happens, patients will use a vape pen before bed without a patch and they fall asleep, no problem. But that vape pen is going to wear out in 3 to 5 hours, depending on the patient. And they're going to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning wide awake. And so when you combine that patch with the vape pen, that patch is going to guarantee that your body's going to continue to get a steady dose of cannabinoids while you're sleeping, which has shown to help a lot of our patients stay asleep at night.
Right.
You know, a lot of patients will, you know, I'll typically use a topical sports gel for my broken hand that I get, particularly when it gets cold out. But I also use a vape pen throughout the day if I need to help my anxiety. So yeah, stacking is definitely something I recommend for a lot of patients.
Why don't you click off of the screen share, and then we can answer a couple more questions that have come in. It says, one of the questions that came in via chat from Daryl is, can you explain why physicians write recommendations for the total amount per several months period rather than the traditional way of prescribing? I guess he means with respect to a pharma doctor.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. And so, you know, really what it comes down to is that you cannot prescribe cannabis. It is a federally legal substance, and doctors by law are not allowed to prescribe it. So they can only recommend it. And that is consistent in pretty much every medical market that I'm aware of in the country. So that's why it's set up the way it is now. Why is it, you know, why are they giving you milligrams for each route over a 210-day period? That's simply the way the law shook out here in Florida. If you look at our other state that we operate in, Arizona, you simply just get a recommendation, and then you're allowed to buy whatever products you want. You just can't exceed 2.5 ounces of product every 2.5 weeks. Here in Florida, obviously, you have to have a recommendation for very specific dosing routes to get access to those products. And then there's a limitation on the total amount of milligrams you can get. So unfortunately, you know, I wasn't involved in the writing the law, so I don't know how they ended up where they did. Something you'll notice is that every state has a very different medical marijuana law. And that has to do with the fact that it seems every state thinks they need to reinvent the wheel and start from scratch. And that there's no lessons to be learned from other states. And so Florida was no different. And I think 3 states passed medical cannabis programs last night. And I guarantee you each one will come up with its own kooky rules and laws.
They'll have their own interpretation of this.
Yeah. So asking about, do we have an online tool for helping to determine what product may be helpful for a certain medical issue? There's not really necessarily like an app or anything like that. Strain Print is actually a great place to start. I failed to mention that there's a community feature in Strain Print. So if you have Crohn's disease, as an example, you can go onto the application and see what other patients who have Crohn's disease are using and what they're finding to be effective. So that's kind of a crowdsourced way to start. And the other opportunity, at least, you know, through online, is the chat feature with our dispensaries. So you can, you know, work directly with our patient care team to get that guidance.
I know that there's a CBD wheel also that you use that base has all the different cannabinoids in a cannabis plant, and then it breaks it down into which condition you have, and it recommends which strains, which products, which terpenes and things you should be using.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you use a patch at night, does it still last 72 hours from when you open the package? Great question, Elaine. Sorry, I should have talked on that. So it's actually 72 hours of transdermal application. So it's not like when you open up the package that like a timer starts ticking and you only have 72 hours to use it. It's actually 72 hours of skin contact. So I know a lot of patients who wear it just that night, they will stretch it out, you know, 5-6 nights. Because, you know, they're able to continue to apply that gel directly to the skin. That's a great question.
And also I noticed that sometimes, like when I've gone a little bit longer than 72 hours, it still works. I mean, there's not a clock on the patch itself that shuts it off at 72 hours. I wouldn't recommend it another day, but it definitely a few hours extra or half a day, I've been able to see it still is effective.
Yeah. Christina asked about home delivery. Yeah, Christina, all products are available for home delivery. There aren't certain products that, you can only get in store. All products are available for home delivery.
Cool. Cool. Was that good answers? If there's any other questions, please bring them in. But I'd like to, first of all, Zach, any closing comments you'd like to make?
No, please sign up for updates on our website. Sign up to receive emails or text updates from us. Like I said, the cannabis world is evolving very quickly. We're really excited to get our edibles products out into the market. So you want to look out for that updates. We do actually have another new vape product that is going to be releasing this month that we're particularly excited about, and we have about 3 to 5 other products that we have in the product development pipeline that we're hoping to get out here pretty soon. So, I just appreciate everybody taking the time to learn more about MOV and learning about cannabis and listening to me talk for an hour. I hate the sound of my voice, so I appreciate everybody tolerating it for a full hour.
Well, listen, MOV is important. I really appreciate having your dispensary here in Florida. As far as being able to have a dispensary that I can count on, that I know the science is behind it, is important. Your consistency and the quality of your products is incomparable. I think you are really the gold standard. That you set the bar very high for a lot of other dispensaries. Let's put it that way. And the other thing I like about it is every time I go visit you, you got something new. Pardon?
Yeah, and that's our goal. I mean, our goal was to bring those those pharmaceutical levels of standards to the cannabis community. We Mike felt that was lacking when he founded this company. The pharmaceutical industry has certainly not had the best reputation over the last 5 to 10 years, but there's certain things that they do very well. And when that comes to creating safe and efficacious products, they really have a process for that. And so I think we've kind of taken the best parts of the pharmaceutical world and combined it with a really compassionate program and compassionate staff and
you paid a lot of attention on how people use your products. And I say that because that little evolved stick was really about the size of a thing of Blistex when you look at it. And it's easy to carry around. I know when I travel, I carry it around. I'm not doing much traveling these days, but I kept it with me. It's easy to use. It was discreet, and it was effective. I mean, and no one on the market has anything like that. It's something that's you guys are extremely innovative in that particular area, and I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you very much for the time today. It was very informative, and I've learned a little bit, that's for sure. So awesome. Thank you, Zach. And thank you everybody for. I'm sorry, Zach. Go ahead.
No, just to say thank you again to everybody for coming out and listening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for being here. A special shout out to the people that really make this happen, for Lee and Deja, because they're the people in the background that really answer a lot of the questions and make sure things work. And then, of course, Alyssa Katera is the person who came up with this whole idea of the programs, and she deserves a good shout out herself. So anyway, Thank you to a lot of people. Next week is anxiety and stress, and which will be very interesting. I think we have a Noah from MOV is going to be presenting that one.
Yes, he is our newest sales manager. So everybody be nice to him.
No, but I think it'll be interesting. I know in this time with anxiety and stress, that's something to pay attention to. So thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Bye.